Hey Saints, just some more news today. It kind of goes with the last video I did. Um, I know everybody's seeing the events with Russia, Iran, Turkey, now in Syria. But this was out in Debka file today. Netanyahu warns Assad through Moscow, don't let Iran have bases. And here he's just saying that they used the Russian context in Israel to get a message through to Assad that he shouldn't let the Iranians set up military bases in Iran. And I'll just read you this part here. This is the first time Israel has ever sent an ultimatum to the Assad regime. According to Jerusalem sources, it was conveyed through Russian intermediaries. They did not specify who those intermediaries were, but other sources put forward Nikolai Patrushev, Russian National Security Advisor, or Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Baganov. Debka file military sources add that Netanyahu took this preemptive step after learning that Tehran is pressing Assad to make available for its use the T4 Tuyas military air base, which is located between Homs and Palmyra. It had become evident that Trump administration has no intention of making any moves in Syria to prevent Iran's military establishment in the country and had washed its hands of Syria in general. I don't know if that's exactly right. I heard the U.S. is expanding a base in northern Syria, but I sort of suspect it has more to do with oil and, guarding resources in Syria. I wouldn't doubt, but the Trump administration's washed their hands of, all these goings on between Russia, Iran, and Israel. We're probably taking more of a back seat to that whole intervention, but I just think it's really curious here that now you've got Israel for the first time saying that they're going to drop their policy of non-intervention in the Syrian war if Iran establishes bases. And, this comes back to Isaiah 17. Let's go take a look. Okay, here we are in Isaiah 17. The burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a ruinous heap. The cities of Aroer are forsaken. They shall be for flocks which shall lie down, and none shall make them afraid. The fortress also shall cease from Ephraim, and the kingdom from Damascus, and the remnant of Syria. They shall be as the glory of the children of Israel, saith the Lord of hosts. And I think, this verse in here suggests maybe that, when Damascus is wiped out, one, the destruction's broader than just Damascus. It goes to the cities of, or I think it's Aroer, and it's going to be quite the desolation. But it also says they shall be as the glory of the children of Israel. So in some sense, I think people look for Israel to be the one that strikes Damascus because of that phrase. And isn't that kind of what Netanyahu was promising there through the Russian contacts he's got, that they would get rid of their non-intervention policy if they see Iran setting up bases and they're going to directly strike. And most of us have heard that apparently Damascus has underground tunnels that are storing a lot of the missiles that Bashar al-Assad had been storing for the upcoming war, and potentially even chemical weapons from way back in the day when Iraq, Saddam Hussein fell. So who knows about all that, but I mean, that would make Damascus a target, right? But the city shall cease from Ephraim, okay? And also it talks about here that the glory here, and in the day shall come to pass that the glory of Jacob shall be made thin, and the fatness of his flesh wax lean. So it's not going to be limited to just Damascus. This is a destruction that would include northern Israel. And it shall come to pass as when a harvestman gathers corn and reapeth the ear with his arm, it shall be as he that gathereth ears in the valley of Rephaim. And the valley of Rephaim is coming down toward Jerusalem, if I remember right. And yet gleaning grapes shall be left in it, as a shaking in the olive tree. 2 or 3 berries in the top of the uppermost bough, 4 or 5 in the outmost fruitful branches thereof, saith the Lord God of Israel. And so you've only got a remnant in those days. And at that day shall a man look to his Maker, and his eyes shall have respect to the Holy One of Israel. And I think that's where, my guess is that many of the Jewish people, they're looking for right now the arrival of their Messiah. And when this strike happens, they're also looking for the Gog-Magog war. And when this strike happens, I think this is, a turning to the Lord is going to happen in Israel. And a lot of this, confirms, I think, that notion of, is Isaiah 17 first? And maybe more broadly, is there a Psalm 83 kind of war that goes with it? And then does the Ezekiel 38:39 happen? And it just strikes me that, this northern part of Israel is where all the gas and oil have been found, the Golan Heights, the reserves probably larger than that's in Saudi Arabia or anywhere else. And wouldn't it make sense then if that war broke out, that, whoever, let's just say Russia, Iran, whoever, takes full advantage and tries to make sure that, they push Israel back out of northern Israel, because what are they trying to do? They're really trying to grab that northern region for the gas and oil. Now we know the full war of the armies from the north coming down is Ezekiel 38 and 39. I'm just, speculating out loud here, because they're surely going to want to, they come to take a spoil, is the way it's written, Ezekiel 38. Surely they're going to be looking for that prize of the huge oil and gas reserves in northern Israel and off the coast of Israel. So that's what I got for you today, Saints. Just looks like all this stuff is just spooling up. God bless.